All right, guys, we are doing the second half of 7-2. So again, my paper doesn't show a lot of work, so we're starting with 15 and 16, and then we'll flip over to the back. I'm going to do all my work on a separate sheet, and that way I've got room. So we are continuing on with distributing. So you're going to distribute that negative 2x and negative 2x times 3x. Bring down your minus sign. Then you've got negative 2x times 4. And see how this plus 7x is on the outside? If you remember, and I think most of you probably will, you just bring it down. You leave it alone, you just bring it down. So negative 2x times 3x is a negative 6x squared. You've got a negative times a negative, that's a positive. 2 times 4, that gives you 8x, and then bring down that plus 7x. And this is where it differs from what we did in the last video. The last video was simply distributing and it was easy peasy. This is distributing and combining like terms. Sorry, I should have read you the directions. They say simplify the remaining expression. Answers must be in standard form, which means you're going to have to manipulate your answers. So you've got a positive 8x and a positive 7x. That gives you 15x. So negative 6x squared plus 15x. Check your answer. Does it go largest exponent to smallest? Yes, it does. You're done. So number 16, we've got two different things to distribute. We've got a 5w, and then separately we've got a negative 2w. Oops, there we go. So we've got 5w times that negative 7w. Bring down your plus sign. 5w times 3. Now you're doing a negative 2w times 13. Bring down that negative, a negative 2w times a 9w squared. I did not leave myself enough room right there, so it's got to get squeezed. This gives you a negative 35w squared, a 15w, a negative 26w, and over here a negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 9 is 18, and w times w squared is w cubed. So if you're looking at that, your like terms are right here, but you've got w cubed, w squared, singular w, so that 18w cubed is going to go out front, followed by the negative 35w squared, and then lastly, 15 minus 26 is a negative 11w. Again, that is largest exponent to smallest exponent. It always has to go in that order. On the back, you've got the same set of directions. So on number 17, we're going to go ahead and distribute the y. Then we're going to distribute a negative y, and we're going to bring down this negative 9y. So you've got y times y, and if you get comfortable enough with these, you really don't need to keep writing out the steps. But I would rather you waited until you were comfortable with it before you didn't write out your steps and accidentally skip something. Dang nabbit. There we go. So y times y gives you y squared. Y times 4 gives you 4y. A negative y times y gives you a negative y squared. Then you've got that double negative again. So and you can look at it this way. Negative 1 times negative 3 is a positive 3. So plus 3y, and then minus 9y. And we're just dragging this guy down. At this point, combine like terms. So I've got y squared and a negative y squared. Well, those end up canceling. That leaves me with 4 plus 3, which is 7, minus 9, which is negative 2. So your answer is negative 2y. That one's short, sweet, and to the point. So number 18. Sorry. Go ahead and distribute. So you've got 6x times 2x. Bring down your negative. 6x times 3. And then here you're distributing that negative 5 to everything. So negative 5 times 2x squared plus that negative 5 times 9x minus that negative 5 times 3. So over here, that gives you 12x squared, 18x, negative 10x squared, negative 45x, and a positive 15. Now, combine all your like terms. So, and you go largest to smallest exponent. So I'm going to start with 12x squared minus 10x squared. 12 minus 10 is 2, so that's 2x squared. I've got a negative 18x and a negative 45x. When I combine those, that gives me a negative 63x. So, and then we've got that random 15 left over. Now, number 19. Go ahead and distribute. And then this mess, again, it's not in the parentheses, so we're just going to drop it down. But instead of dropping down a singular thing, we're dropping down two different terms, which is fine. So we're going to do 2y times 6x minus 2y times 4x squared y. Sorry, plus 13x squared y squared minus 6. You would think I'd learn how to zoom this thing in and out, but I haven't. So 2y times 6x, you can't change exponents when they're different variables, so you're just going to write that 12xy. And you could do yx if it made you happy. Over here, you've got minus 8. Y times x squared y means, you know, our x squared is going to stay the same, but our y, we've got y times y, which is y squared. And then drag down that plus 13x squared y squared minus 6. Combine like terms. Your only like terms are this and this. So you're doing negative 8 plus 13, which gives you 5. So 5x squared y squared. Then that 12xy is going to come in, and then that negative 6. Oops. The reason it goes in that order, think about it. Standard form, largest exponent to smallest. You've got a total of 4 exponents right here. You've only got 2 here. Remember, you've got an invisible 1 and an invisible 1. If you want to put those in there, be my guest, but you don't need to. Number 20. Ooh, number 20 is a lot like number 18. So we're going to distribute. So negative 2 times 3m cubed. Negative 2 times 6. Then we've got that. So plus 3m times 2m squared. Plus 3m times 3m, and plus 3m times 1. There we go. So that gives you negative 6m cubed. The nice thing about that is your exponents don't change. Minus 12. Exponents change here. Plus 6m cubed, because m times m squared is m cubed. Plus 9m squared plus 3m. Largest exponent to smallest. Your largest exponents are these m cubes. Well, a negative 6 plus a positive 6, they end up canceling. So your next highest exponent is the 2. There's nothing like that. So 9m squared, we're just going to bring it down. And then that 3m has nothing in common, and that negative 12 has nothing in common. So once we canceled out our only 2 like terms, then everything else just falls into place using standard form. Number 21 is a bit of a doozy, just because you have, there we go, 3 things you're distributing on this one. So you're distributing a 3v, a 3, and then a negative 3v. So just take it through step by step. 3v times 7v minus 3v times 2 plus 3 times v squared plus 3 times 2v plus 3 times 1 minus that should be a negative. Negative 3v times 5v plus negative 3v times 3. And remember, this negative right here came from right here. We just drug it down. So go through, and these kind of get, you know, that's a pretty long problem. So take your time, write it out, make sure you're doing all of your multiplication right. 3v times 7v gives you 21v squared. 3v times 2 is a negative 6. Why does my pencil lead always break when I'm videoing your lessons? 6v. Then we've got 3 times v squared, which gives you a positive 3v squared. 3 times 2v is 6v. 3 times 1 is 3. Now, negative times a negative is a positive 15v squared, and then minus 9v. So from here, combine your like terms. So we've got largest exponent to smallest exponent, 21v squared plus 3v squared plus 15v squared. So 21 plus 3 is 24 plus 15, that's 39v squared. And then we go to straight v's. So 6v, a negative 6v plus 6v minus 9v. Well, those end up canceling each other out. That leaves you with a negative 9v. And then that plus 3, we're just going to drag it down. Now, because if you look, 22, 23, and 24 are, well, 22 and 23 are very similar to what we just did. The only difference is that 23's got this negative that you're distributing. Well, what's in between the negative and the parentheses that you can't ever see? A 1. So you're essentially, the pencil lead again, distributing a negative 1 here. 24 is a hot mess of a problem, and it's a little, that's like an honors algebra problem. So we're not going to worry about that. And then 25 and 26 deal with geometry concepts, finding area. And I know you can find the area of a rectangle, but we're not going to worry about that now. So on your homework, I'm going to take those problems off. But these ones up here, what I really want you to focus on is writing out your work before you start skipping steps, because I know you, and I know you're going to want to skip steps, and I know you're not going to want to write it out like I'm doing over here, but please try to write it out for a while until you get the hang of this. Please. Thank you.